So I'm here to talk about sort of a smaller type of rebellion, more of an inadvertent type of rebellion. And that's the rebellion of first figuring out who the heck you really are, and then dealing with it when other people don't understand. So how this starts is with a really simple fact. I am not a veterinarian. This means absolutely nothing to you, of course. But what happened was this is what I was going to be. And if you went back in time, grabbed my teenage self, threw in that row, what I've just said would be the worst thing you could have said in her life, because I had a plan. I was going to work with things like that. I know, baby sloth, right? Had to go for it. I wanted to work with things like this. I had to plan every co-op thing I did, every volunteer opportunity I did, every summer job I did was all for this plan, except for one. The summer before I went to university, I took a job for a very important reason. I needed money. University, not so cheap. Took a job developing a website for something called the SchoolNet. Now, this was the mid-90s. Google had just come out. I'm not really that old, the internet's that young, trust me. And basically, you didn't really need any experience. You could walk in, I could use computers, yay, got a job. But that, even on the credit page of that website, it said, Jessica's going off to university to become a veterinarian. There's only one problem. The job had been really interesting. It had been fun. I'd always used computers, but I never built anything. You're like building stuff out of pixels and creativity, and it's really cool. And I'd been so focused on what I was going to be that I didn't stop to think, what if? What if you found something you liked better? What if, science is still cool, but this is better? And what if you find yourself spending all your days in your classes and your nights frantically learning code because you found a new interest? And although this isn't the primary message I put up here, and this is a cliche, I admit it, please don't close the doors. Don't be like me. People always say, 5 years down the road, you'll be like, oh, a missed opportunity. In my case, the opportunity came, smacked me across the back of the head, and left me dazed and confused and nearly screwed up my entire university degree because I was not prepared. But I survived somehow. Science degree in one hand, way too many hours playing on the internet on the other. I'm sure some of you can understand that part. And found a job that would let me do both. Perfect. I could make it. Until the first week of my job, the tech lead at the place we're working out of pulled me aside and decided to point something out to me just in case I hadn't noticed, that I was a geeky girl with the wrong degree, and therefore I should probably go do what he told me, not touch any of his things, and basically go sit in the corner like a nice little girl and everything would be fine. Yeah, we didn't get along that well. I don't know why. Possibly because I completely ignored that. And the reason why, and the important thing here is, he was slightly right. I'm a geek. I admit it. I'm quite proud of it. In fact, when they said you're coming to talk about being a rebel, my first thought goes to Star Wars and video games. And if anyone recognizes this launch screen, awesome. I have nothing to be ashamed of, and that is the first thing, is people will label you. You can be a geek, you can be a nerd, you can be anything you are. People will label you, and they will think this is a negative thing. Screw them. This is who you are. Embrace it, accept it, and who cares what they think? Because you know what? How many of you have smartphones? Come on, you guys have been on Twitter all day. How many have Facebook? Yeah, geeks rule the world. If you hadn't noticed, yeah, just a little. How much time do you spend on the internet? So you need to accept it. Now, the other part of this, though, the really important part here was I was a geek girl. See, I hadn't gone through IT. I didn't take a computer science degree, right? I didn't realize we were rare until I got there, and I was the only girl surrounded by guys. I left a job just about a year ago. We had 3 whole girls on the web team surrounded by guys. I was at a conference last week even, and they say that still only 25% of the people in IT are women. And that now, back then, it was like, oh, girls don't play video games? Yeah, they do. Girls don't code? Yeah, they do. But that was the stereotype. Nowadays, it's funny because I go to these conferences and they're all like, we need women in IT. God, how do we get women in IT? And my first response is, well, why wouldn't you want to be in tech? But then I realized, okay, I didn't go into computer science partially because I wanted to play with the baby sloths. And partially because, you know, tech, coding, that was, you know, sitting behind a computer by yourself, somewhere dark, maybe in a basement. Tech isn't just that, though. It's everything from playing on Facebook for a living to making the new tech toy that everyone wants, like the cell phone's half of your handling, to building an app that gets 1 million downloads. There's everything in it. And the cool thing is, you know how they say it takes all kinds to build a village? Yeah, it takes all kinds to build the internet. And I'm going to digress from the whole accept who you are, embrace it bit just for a second, and talk to any girls in the audience, sorry guys, I'm sure you'll understand, who like tech or internet at all. We need you. It's the different perspectives and the different skill sets you bring that are desperately needed and are awesome to have. And in my case, those skills that apparently were not supposed to be there, according to Mr. Tech Lead, because, you know, I'm a girl, oh dear God, those skills made me stand out, made me get far, made me able to do things that people I was working with couldn't. The other skills that made me stand out and made me different were my ability to process things, analyze, problem solve. I love a good mystery. All those skills come from my science degree. You know, the wrong degree that I had, oops. And the real important thing here, and saying this in a university, I used to work for a university for over 10 years, and I get a slightly big thrill here, saying this line. And actually, as a pause, if you are a girl in code here, these guys are in Toronto. I've never been there, but I've heard nothing but good things. Rock on. This is the line that's kind of fun to say at university. And it's education is important, but it's not who you are. I have a science degree. It's useful. I use it every day. But doesn't mean that I am not damn good as a coder and a really good project manager in web. We've heard a lot of stories about people who work in different areas and who are going into different areas. Doesn't mean that that has to be what they started out in. Because really, what you start out in high school may not be what you do in university. What you do in university may not be what you do when you're out of university. And really, the reality of how things are shifting right now is the job that you will have when you are 35, it doesn't exist yet. If it does, it's going to be radically different. Everything is changing so quickly that you need to change with it. You learn and you grow, but do not let your education and the degree that you have make your only path. I also like using this one at a university. This is from a comic called XKCD. If you don't know it and you're geeky at all, find it. It is hilarious. As you can see, school important. It's up there. And for him, one weekend messing with Perl made his life. For me, all that extra time spent learning how to code made my life. You hear stories about people who build entire rebellions out of skateboarding, out of improv, out of all these different things. Their passion and your passion is what makes your life and what dictates your life. And as he points out, you know, that strange kid in homeroom might also be quite useful, especially if, you know, he's really smart. For instance, this guy. This guy's name is Kevin Systrom. He learned, as he says underneath, coding on the side. As a side thing, while working as a marketer. If you've not heard of him, you may have, anyone heard of something called Instagram? Anyone? Yeah, how many people have Instagram? Yeah. If you haven't heard of Instagram, how many of you heard of Facebook? Yeah, this man without a coding degree who learned it in his spare time just sold his product to Facebook for $1 billion. So whether it be that kind of thing that motivates you or the amazing, amazing stories of rebellion that we're hearing over here where you can skateboard across the country and help with cancer and that kind of idea, your passion, who you are, whether it be a geek, whether it be anything else, whether your passion be in code or whether your passion be in dance or art, it doesn't matter. Follow that, and you're going to go far. I started with an internet meme. I'm going to end with an internet meme because this is how I roll. The truth of it is that people will label you. people will tell you this is who you are and this is what you do, and you should be ashamed of it. It's not true. There are many other people out there like you. I said, girl in code, seriously, some of the most unique and interesting people, including some I've just met today, are in that industry. In whatever way you're going, there's really cool people there who have also been labeled the same thing, and who have also had to sit back and say, do I go and hide in the corner and sit down and be a nice little good girl? Or do I say, screw it, do what I want, and go forward from there? So in conclusion, my name is Jessica. I'm a geek girl and very proud of it. A gamer, that was my Star Wars character up there. I am a science nerd still, even if I'm not technically in that area. I'm now actually back in that area doing science and tech, so yay, useless degree not. And most importantly, I am not a veterinarian and I regret nothing. Thank you.